Good morning, social media, Facebook, YouTube, everybody that is joining and being a part of this conversation. Welcome to the last day of celebrating Pastor's Wife of Appreciation. Of course, we're celebrating for the rest of this month. Thank you for rocking out with me. But right now, I want you to like, share, all of that great stuff as we get ready to talk about this conversation and sharing the book, You Are the Fragrance. All right, so here we go. Let's grow. Good morning. Hello. So, because it was so amazing yesterday, right? I asked my husband to pause in. Now he's in a meeting, but anyway, we're going to rock out together and talk about this conversation. So, as I'm sharing this, I want to say thank you to every pastor's wife, to every pastor that stands alongside your husband in ministry. Good morning. For every pastor, for every pastor's wife, we celebrate you this month. We celebrate your amazing things that you have done, amazing things that you are doing. I celebrate you. We have been talking for the last, since Tuesday, man. We've been rocking out for like 4 days, right? The first day we talked about, so you say you are the pastor's wife. So I'm coming to talk to different kinds of people, and we are discussing my book, You Are the Fragrance. Get your book today, right? We've been discussing the book, You Are the Fragrance. And as we're discussing this book, we have been discussing the importance of, so you are the pastor's wife. I talked to that person that have just started in ministry. Heart it up if you're joining. Good morning, that just started in ministry. I'm talking to that person. I'm also talking to that person that is already in ministry, but you're going through some things. We talk to you, as well as the church leaders, as well as that person that just want to see through the lens of a pastor's wife. This is for you. This conversation is for you. I thank you to those that have been watching the replays. I know you may have not liked it, but I thank you for viewing. I thank you for those that rock out with me during the live. I appreciate it, and I know you guys are going to join with me. But with that said, we are going to talk. Here we go. And I know you guys are We're going to talk, and we have some stuff we want to talk about. We talked about the other day, we talked about, so you are the pastor's wife. We discussed that. The importance of understanding. Good morning. Good morning. So we talked about, so you understand that you are now the pastor's wife. We discussed that, the importance of that, of understanding that you got to stay connected to God, stay connected to your marriage, into your ministry, and all that stuff, right? We also talked about on day 2 the importance of character building, that the pastor's wife character must be built, has to be built. And you got to go through the journey of getting built as the pastor's wife. We discussed that, how to, there's pressure that's going to hit you as a pastor's wife. There's going to be, patience that's going to hit you as a pastor wife, as well as pressure, patience, and you got to go through the purification of being a pastor's wife. But all of those levels will build you as the pastor's wife. We discussed that, the importance of that. On yesterday, my baby daddy, my husband, ended up coming on. I started off talking about the betrayal of staff members. Oh my God. If you did not watch any of these, you want to go back and watch the replay. The staff members, we shared our heart. I thought it was important. We shared our heart.
I jumped on because I wanted to make sure. I thought that it could have turned out another opportunity for someone to attack another first lady. And I decided to stand up with my wife and say, if you're going to attack one of us, you're going to attack both of us. So I think it was something that needed to be talked about. And I stood right beside you and say, baby, go.
Let's go. Let's go. And I appreciate it because, number one, it was authentic. I didn't even know he was here. We both be working in the house, and he's been gone all week. And I know this is such a sensitive topic when it comes to dealing with pastor wives, right? It's a sensitive topic. But what I realized, that even though it's a sensitive topic, it is a necessary topic. Most of the time I discuss it in my classroom with the pastor's wife connection, in the pastor wife connection community, but I decided to come out and discuss this particular book. If you have not, go get the book. Let me put this link in here and see if it'll stay. but go get the book. But today, y'all, we're talking about another sensitive topic, and I'm so glad that he's here. And I was like, babe, you want to rock out with me again? He said, yes, honey, I want to rock out with you again. And so because he's here, a topic we're going to be dealing with, there's a blessing in the betrayal. Can you type that in the screen if you're rocking out with me? There is a blessing in the betrayal. There's a blessing in the betrayal. And that's what we're just dealing with today. And one of the things that I realized that in ministry, everything I've experienced up until this point was necessary.
Yes.
Everything I experienced up until this point was necessary and it was needed. There's a blessing in the betrayal. Everything that up until this point I needed, it was necessary. What do you think, husband?
I think it's a good capstone to yesterday for those who thought like, okay, well, maybe you're bitter because of what you went through, and maybe you're only sharing what you shared because you're bitter. No, like I said at the conclusion, we said together at the conclusion that we thank you. We appreciate every scar that we receive. So what you got to start doing is realizing, how do you find value in your scars?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find value? I mean, look at Jesus himself. He should have been so upset with those who betrayed him, who did what he did, but he looked down at them and said, told God, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Right.
And he realized I needed every scar to validate my transition. So I think this is an awesome topic.
It's necessary. Again, in the book, I discuss becoming the pastor's wife. I go through the different transition. I was just sharing that with someone. I go through the different transitions of becoming the pastor's wife. I go through the transition of, learning how to gain right friendships, coach, mentor, counseling that I had to go through as a pastor's wife. I also dealt with, betrayal. Hello, Lady Perez. I dealt with betrayal, and betrayal as the pastor's wife deal with betrayal, is betray other people in the church. I also deal with the betrayal of the husband. I deal with the betrayal of the members, the staff. Yes, I talk about the betrayal of husbands, because baby, them husbands would turn on you with them church members in a heartbeat, and you like, what?
I did. I got to say that because my wife used to tell me, that's you and your church. And I realized that on the fact that I did separate the two. I used to try to protect the church from my wife and try to protect my wife from the church. And it literally ended up being like I had, two different wives.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to remember, the church is Jesus' wife, not mine.
Not mine. Come on here. That's good.
That's good.
That's good. Every pastor, y'all should have caught that.
That went deep, so deep. Listen, can I just go a little bit further?
Yes, please.
And listen, the fact that it's so important that a pastor understand that the church is Jesus' wife, because the sacrifices you should be making for your wife, Jesus already made for the church. So he don't need you to make a sacrifice twice.
Woo, can y'all hold it up if y'all feel it?
So I got to sacrifice for my wife because this is my wife, not the church. So if there's sacrifice to be made, compromise to be made for the church, their husband got to take care of them. And who is the husband of the church? Jesus himself. I didn't even realize what I said. That was powerful.
That's powerful. That's powerful, and it's necessary because most pastors end up leaving and doing the opposite of what the word says. The word says, take care of your home before you try to take care of the church. And I think sometimes we don't understand that.
How can a man even be over church if he cannot govern his home yet? And so, dang, I'm about to use this somewhere.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know. It felt something in there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's not my wife.
Yeah, that's not my wife. I love it. All right. So a couple of things we're going to talk about today. We're discussing the blessing and the betrayal. Type that in the screen. The blessing in the betrayal. Yesterday, we talked about the betrayal of staff members and how do you handle that, and how a staff member should make sure that you're not loud disrespect, but you are respecting the pastor's wife. She is one. She's a part of her husband. When you disrespect her, you disrespect the husband. When you disrespect her, you're disrespecting him. We also talked about things that the staff need to know to make sure that you're not a liability, but you are an asset to the ministry. We talked about that. We also talked about the importance of pastor wives, making sure we don't mistreat the staff, right? And making sure we love the staff. So we talked about that. So here we go. We got a lot to talk about today. The blessing in the betrayal. I see you guys. Good morning. Good morning. The blessing in the betrayal. We all know Ephesians 6. If you don't know, Ephesians 6:12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and high places. Ephesians 6 and 12. I discussed that in this book. And this is what I say. I want to read this really quick, really quick. On the part that I'm talking about, the blessing and the betrayal, again, we're going over the book. You are the fragrance. It says, it is so sad, yet so true that everyone who claims to be a Christian is not really a follower of Christ. So many that come to church are really coming to pursue their own agendas, whether it is to gain fame, money, influence, power, etc. I will say, beware of the narcissistic spirit and Jezebel spirits that linger around in your church. These false disciples come in many shapes and forms, but the most dangerous is the narcissistic spirit. This spirit is someone who uses the gospel to build themselves up while they tear others down. If this spirit is left unchecked, meaning if you as the pastor's wife or pastor do not see it, the influence that they can carry may destroy the ministry. But most of all, other Christians, the narcissistic spirit does not care about your feelings. Come here. And their goal is to make sure that everyone knows that they are right. This spirit is very insecure. It needs entitlement, it needs admiration, and it wants everyone to praise them. But in secret, they are hateful and mean to those that they love. Come here. Trust me, they will treat you the same way as their leader. They will love you publicly, but in private, they will destroy your character. Hear me in the Holy Ghost. The danger of the spirit is that they will bully, intimidate, and convince those in your congregation to trust the God in them. By the time they gain enough influence over the people, the destruction of character will begin. How do I know this so well? I can smell this spirit when it rises for some reason. It comes from me first because I see it first spiritually. Pastor's wife, be aware of the spirit of this spirit. It loves entitlement and admiration. If you notice, I keep saying spirit and not a person because it's just that. It is not the person, but the spirit that lingers over the church to destroy it. I have seen it, and time again, I almost know their agenda, which is gain power and to destroy the church. Can you heart it up for that? There is a certain thing that you have to know as a leader. My very first point is understanding what spirit you are fighting against. This is going to be tight, but it's going to be right. Hear me when I say, husband, what you think about that I just said?
I think it's a lot to be thought about because
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm getting something off your lip.
And every time I talk,
I'm so sorry.
I'll make you kiss it in a second.
Okay.
It's a lot to be thought about this. And when I come, I'm always thinking from a pastor perspective because the oblivious mindset of a pastor. And, we were so focused on, having church, growing church, doing church that we kind of overlook some of the most dangerous actions that we face. And so when I think about a narcissist, especially when it comes in the membership, a narcissist is so dangerous because they are 100% invested in getting what they want, while doing whatever it takes to get what they want. And that's even making you feel really good about yourself. And the whole time you're thinking they're really caring about you, but truthfully, they'll listen to you. They'll make you feel excited, make you feel great, so they can listen. And they invested so much, they'll do it over time until they feel as though they got the right grip on you to take control. Mm-hmm. And once they got control, they own you.
Period.
They own you. And listen, and you think, well, I got ownership of the situation because you haven't got to that position to where you have compromised your status. Once you compromise your status, they own your status. They want you to do something that if they have it and you do it, now they own your pastoralship. Now they own you being a first lady. They got enough information. They got in close to you. They were so close to you. They listened to everything about you. They served you. They'll wipe your tears. They'll wipe your snot off your face. You thinking this person really loves me. This person really adore me. No, they're 100% invested in getting their agenda accomplished by getting authority and power and influence. So they're going to do whatever they got to take. They're going to sacrifice everything about themselves.
Come on.
So that they can position themselves to gain some type of dirt on you that's going to compromise you as a leader. And once they got it, they now own you.
And hear me when I say this is a spirit and it lingers over the church. It's an understanding that here's the thing. When you understand what you're fighting against, you understand and know how to fight. Somebody say how to fight. I need you to type that. This teaches you. What am I doing today? I'm teaching the pastor's wife to know what you're fighting against and how to fight. I know there are several spirits. If you're watching this and you're not familiar with this kind of conversation, Sugarfoot, just hold on a little while longer and do your own research. But the Bible says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and high places. And you got to know as a leader how to fight and what you are fighting against. We know how to fight. We know how to go in prayer. But when you don't know what you're praying about, that's where we mess up.
And listen, can I go a little deeper on that? Because
yes, sir.
My wife mentioned earlier said this is a spirit. This is a spirit.
Yes.
And the reason why this is a spirit because this thing was created in them.
Yeah.
This thing was created in them. And as a child, they was taught the only way you're going to get attention is through manipulation.
Come on, Bishop.
And so they didn't ask for this. They didn't want this, but they were hungry for this. And they've been taught that this is how I get attention. I got to take what I want. I got to take what I get. And so this is a lingering essence that was adopted from generations. Yeah. And it can be loved out of them.
Yes, it can.
It can be led out of them, but you cannot compromise with this thing.
Yeah, at all. All of us have some type of narcissistic way, but it's when you deep and dive in it into the church and their goal is to destroy. You got to be careful of that. What is another spirit? Somebody type, what's another one? What's another one? What's another one? Another one is Jezebel. Type that, Jezebel spirit. There's a such thing as
and kissing cousins.
They kissing cousins, I'm telling you. They kissing cousins. They are in the same vein, same lane when it comes to Jezebel. What is Jezebel? And when we say a spirit, these are different things and traits, characteristics that are in the Bible. Jezebel was a woman that was in the Bible. If you don't know about her, go ahead and read her. I forgot what scripture she's in, but she's in the Bible and she did everything she could to destroy the church. The king, her goal was not to go after, the membership or the people. Her goal was to go after the top head. Her goal was to go after them. So this is what I say in the book. I said a Jezebel spirit goal is to gain control and gain power of the ministry and to try to destroy what God has built up, just like Jezebel did in the Bible. Some pastor wives may think that a Jezebel spirit is after their husband, pastor, but no, the spirit loves power and control over the entire ministry from the pulpit to the pew. Unfortunately, my husband have encountered both of these spirits, and the goal, talking about the narcissistic spirit as well as the Jezebel spirit, but the goal, what did I say? Where was I at? Unfortunately, my husband has encountered that, but both of these spirits, and the goal was to destroy our church. When their goal is not accomplished, they will leave, but they will still try to leave seeds of discord. This can be dangerous if you do not learn how to respond properly as a leader. I know that it's easier said than done, and that's why you have a spiritual covering that has experienced these spirits before you can guide you on how to respond to these spirits. I thank God for my covering. Somebody say this makes sense. I love it. I thank God for my covering. I thank God that I had someone to go to. Bishop, would you say this has happened a couple of times? It don't stop and it lingers. Yeah. It has happened a couple of times.
And the thing is that so the difference between a Jezebel spirit and a what was the first one we just said? Narcissistic spirit is that narcissistic wants attention. Jezebel wants power. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing. A narcissist wants power. They want to be able. Narcissists want attention. A Jezebel want power. And listen. And they hate when someone else has a position of power. Listen. Don't get it twisted. They don't want to be pastor. They want to have control of the pastor.
Period.
Because when you're pastor, That means you're directly responsible and accountable of the backdraft of the wrong. But I want to be able to use you to get done what I want to get accomplished. I want to, because I like to undercut, I like to underhand, I like to, what they say, throw you a rock and hide your hand.
Right.
And so they literally are the nemesis to the first lady.
Woo-hoo-hoo, say that
because the first lady is in their position.
And they want them out.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Either they're the nemesis of the first lady or they are the first lady.
Ooh, let's talk about it. Because first ladies and pastor wives can also walk in a Jezebel spirit.
And a lot of times that Jezebel noticed the pastoral anointing before he became a pastor. And may have moved the wife out before he even got married.
Oh, Jesus on the main line.
And so our whole agenda was to listen to this here. These are the best campaign managers in the world because they know how to campaign their husband to be pastor. Or they'll make a weak man a pastor so they can pastor through him. I'm about to go, baby. I'm gonna go.
Can somebody hold it up, dude? And if you don't understand, that's okay.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
So
Jesus on the main line.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're listening to me, watch your mouth. Don't go back trying to say, "Oh, I know she a Jezebel. I know he a Jezebel." No, just make sure you're not the Jezebel. And if you think you're encountering a Jezebel, pray for them, because you don't play with this. My wife is doing this because it's time to expose things to help some first ladies. And some first ladies won't walk into the group that they need to be in, but she's talking here to get their attention. So I know you get a chance to witness this. So this is some true stuff. And a lot of y'all are hearing stuff firsthand, and you don't recognize this. But the greatest part of healing is recognition. So that's what you understand. So yeah, I've encountered this. I've encountered people trying to give me influence, trying to give me decisions, trying to lead through me.
And I'm going to say this. We've even had one to sit down and say that the Lord told them that they were supposed to be the right hand to us. Baby, I looked at my husband and I said, "Sugar, the Lord told you that." Because the Lord ain't tell me that. And as soon as that happened, because that person thought I was weak spiritually, they think that the pastor's wife can't see. But when you have a pastor's wife that knows God and can see, sniff, and smell the enemy and knows how to pray against in war against that thing, baby, that's when her destruction began. And I said, "Oh, Lord, okay, I know what I'm fighting against." That's why it's very important to know what you're fighting against. You're not fighting against the flesh, the person. You are fighting against the spirit, because here's the thing. She wasn't new to the game. There were other spirits that tried the same thing, but she just tried different.
Let me say this, and my wife just said it. So I want to not just give exposure. My wife is doing both, giving exposure and giving exposure, warning, and direction. So number one, you're fighting not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in high places. The worst thing you want to do is attack this spirit with words.
That part.
Because when you start attacking this spirit with text messages, you're giving them ammo.
Right.
When you attack the spirit with words, you're giving them ammo. And they're going to use everything against you, because they're going to turn from that aggressive, vicious bulldog to that weak, precious person. I can't believe she said
did
this
that
about
to me.
me.
Oh my God.
Because now you gave her so much power. The best way to fight spirits like this is with prayer and listen and make sure that you understand your spirit.
That
you recognize their spirit. Now you got they listening to their spirit to tell them what to do. You got to listen to your spirit and let it tell you what to do. Sometimes your spirit will tell you to shut up, sit down, and just sit back. Because when you listen to me in the Holy Ghost, this spirit, you cannot defend yourself
at all.
Because the moment you defend yourself, you immediately offend them.
Right.
And now you become the aggressor instead of the person who's been attacked. So I got to give you warning. Number one, don't fight back. Let this thing be fought through the Spirit of God, and God will tell you what to do, what not to do. And when you get through, that person will look so stupid. And it may not last. It may not be over in a month. It may not be over in a year. You may have to fight this battle for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But if you hang in there, you won't lose
at all.
But you're going to gain more people who are going to watch you say, they're going to begin to say, why does she keep attacking her? Why does she keep attacking him? Because they're going to see the residue of it all. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. And it's good that you said that, because I had to learn, and I'm glad he didn't just say prayer. I had to learn through prayer the importance of being solid, when to say something, when not to say something, when to correct, when not to correct. I had to learn that. And only way you can learn that is when you know what you're fighting against.
Somebody said before that I was sleeping around with 2 women in our church.
Yeah.
And first of all, before you get to 60 seconds, I'm adding the 60 seconds real fast. I didn't. But they said it. And God told me I want to come back to church and apologize to them and say, I'm so sorry that y'all, not to apologize, I want to come back to them and to defend myself and say, I didn't do this and I didn't do that and I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And God said, don't you do that. Don't you dare do that. All he would let me say with these words here, that if my feet didn't say it, my words can't change your mind. Sometimes you got to realize if they don't if they don't already recognize your feet and what your feet and your character is like, your words can't start the new story that your feet didn't already write.
Right.
So sometimes just sit back and just know this is who you are.
Yeah.
And if you lose, if you lose anybody in this season that was supposed to lose, I'm gonna add one more thing to you. I'm gonna give this to you because God showed me also in this season that there is 2 types of material that fire affect differently. If they're supposed to be around you, they must be metal. They're going to be purified. If they not, they must be wood. They're supposed to be consumed. Some things wasn't meant to kill you. It was supposed to kill the people around you. Yeah. And to separate you, God will allow you to go through some attacks because the people around you need to be removed. And the reason why they're going to be removed because they're going to assume what they said about you was true. Let them believe it. Just don't make sure that you make it true. I'm through.
That part. And even if those that are consumed, maybe it was just the time was up and the Lord knew it. And that's just his way of doing it. Another kind of spirit is understanding you got what you call a spirit of Ahab. Ahab is the brother, the husband to what's her name? Jezebel. You got a spirit of Ahab.
Not the brother, the lover.
The lover. I meant husband.
Yeah.
Ahab, type that in the screen. Ahab, you got to know what you're fighting against. You got to research all these people, I'm telling you, okay, during your own time. Ahab, a spirit of Ahab. Ahab was a whole kind of different kind of spirit that was lined up, and he cahoots with Jabez. He was in like, I'm with you. Like they did it together. So that's that togetherness that you find when people come against you, but they're doing it together. They can't do it by themselves. They got to have a team of people. You got to know, again, what you're fighting against when it comes to this. The person that is in cahoots, you got to also know the spirit of Nabal, which is Abigail's husband. You have this kind of spirit that rests in your ministry, in your church, where they are stubborn. They are what do you call them? Bullheaded. They are rebellious, and they do not care. And if they can't kill the whole church, they'll do it. Period. So you got to be careful of that. You also, I'm going through this quick because I want to share some other stuff with you. You also got to be careful, and this is going to be my last one, the spirit of Judas. Come on, Judas. Do whatever you're going to do. Quickly. Come on, Judas. Type that in the screen. You need your Judases.
Sometimes, listen, I'm going to tell you a secret. Stop trying to fight everybody in your church. You'll see somebody destroy your church. Just look at them and smile. Say, do what you're going to do and do it quickly.
I remember being like that. A couple of years ago, I was like, come on, Judas. Can you hurry up, please, and finish whatever you're going to do? Come on, Judas. Somebody hard it up. Sometimes you need some Judases in your life. And what did Judas do? Judas was in Jesus. He sat at the table. Come here, let's talk about it. He sat at the table with Jesus, and he rocked out with Jesus. He was a part of the 12 disciples. For those that don't know, Jesus had a whole bunch of disciples, but there was 12 that rocked out with him. Even though he rocked out with Jesus, he was in the background getting the people to get ready to kill him and take him out. And and there are some people around you that sit at your table and they're close to you. That can be friends, that can be family, that can be whoever, and they rocking out with you. And because they rocking out with you, they are really there to destroy what the Lord is trying to build. Yep. And it is okay. So go ahead, Judas, do what you're gonna do, because you're gonna make me stronger. Not realizing that Jesus was gonna do some things through Judas that was gonna be life-changing. You understand me? You gotta understand what you're fighting against. All right. Somebody heart it up if you feel me. Type, understand what you're fighting against.
Understand what you're fighting against.
Understand what you're fighting against. All right, my next point.
And don't make it personal.
Oh, say that one more time.
Don't make it personal.
Don't get personal. That ain't personal.
Even though it's a personal attack, don't make it personal. Keep it spiritual.
It's spiritual, period. Because the Bible says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
And remember this here.
It's not personal.
Like spirits don't fight against each other. So if that spirit is coming against you, it's because of the call of God in your life.
That
So
part.
don't take it personal, take it spiritual. Say, God, you must know. And not only don't take it personal, take it spiritual, realize that if it's happening, God allowed it.
I feel like Monica just one of them days. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal.
And lastly, I'm gonna say this here: if God allowed it, He knew you was ready for your next level.
That every time there was a spirit that came up against something that we were doing, God birthed out something new. Thank God for it. Every time a spirit, baby, God did something totally new, totally brand new. So number 2, what does betrayal look like when it comes to the pastor's wife? I pray that we didn't share enough on what betrayal looked like. It looked like disloyalty. It looks like violation. It looks like what do you call it? You can't be trusted. It looks like it looks like intimidation. It looks like entitlement. You just got to know what you're fighting against. This can be, again, not just in your church as a pastor, but there are some people that's in your family that look at you as the pastor and the leader of the church or leader of the family. And if that's the case, it may even be them. You just got to understand that this is what it looks like. I know what I'm fighting against, and it's okay. All right, it's okay. Number 3, let's walk through this quickly. Number 3, the other thing, you must be willing. Oh, in this, what does betrayal look like? You must, number 3, you must know how to handle betrayal as a pastor's wife. Type that: how to handle betrayal. How do I handle betrayal? What does it look like? Y'all know I'm a principal girl. I can't help that. I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, or whatever you want to call me. I love to give principles so that it can give you a way to understand what you're dealing with, how you're dealing with it, and why it is happening. Everything that happens in our life is for a reason. It's not by chance that what my husband and I have done I would have never been able to write the book that I'm writing, to write the book that I wrote, write the book that I'm writing, and do the things that I've done because of these things. So how do you handle it? I see you guys. God allowed and He knew. Yes. How do you handle it? How do you handle it? We must deal with one that causes betrayal only. The only way you need to know how to handle it, there are some people that you do have to deal with, and you have to have a sit down conversation with when it comes down to their betrayal, depending on where they are in your ministry, what is happening. It is very important to have a conversation when there's too much betrayal that's within the ministry. If they love you enough, they'll stay after that conversation. But there's some conversation that have to be had.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, you definitely got to have it. You got to have it. First, I would say before you talk to anybody else, you have to have a conversation between yourself and God.
Right.
Because there's some things internally that sometimes, even though you talk to someone else about it, you don't want to hear the truth. You got to become aware of who you are internally and why this is affecting you so bad. Why is this thing coming at you? Because everything that comes at you is meant to grow you. And for you to really grow from it, and it happens, and you grow quickly, and you don't linger this too long, you become aware of what God is trying to grow. Is God trying to detach you from some type of attribute that's going to hinder you from your next level? So you need to have an honest talk with God. Then you need to have an honest talk with your spouse, but you do need to have some conversations. And then one day you may end up having to have an honest conversation with this person.
Right. Yeah, and you. That's why you have a great covering. You need a leader. You can't tell me who you're over until you tell me who you're under. You need a great leader that can guide you and direct you. I remember calling our leader when there was betrayal that happened in our church, and it did hit him. It hit me. And because it hit me, I was like, man, I called my leader and I'm like, dude, I really want to have, not dude, like I really, lady, I don't know what to do. Like this person did this. And oh my God, it hurt to the core of what they did and how they did it. And I trust, man, we love, oh man, all this stuff. And this has happened several times. So at least 7 times. You understand me? So I had to take a look at myself and find out what are the things that I did to make sure, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But how did I handle it? I had to go to someone that could give me guidance and wisdom. Type that. You got to go to someone before you have this conversation with someone in your leadership. I had to have conversations with him, and we had to have conversations with them, with people. But there was sometimes it was don't say nothing. That ain't even worth it. From my leaders, no, baby, that ain't the first one, and it won't be the last, sugar.
If one thing you don't get a chance to be as a pastor or first lady, write this down. Write this down. One thing you do not get a chance to be ever again in public, not in private. In private you can do this, but in public you can never again be petty.
Come on here, petty.
You're not allowed.
You can't be a petty pastor's wife.
You're not allowed. If you petty, you making it real hard on your pastor. If you petty, make it real hard on your leadership, because you are making the job 10 times worse, because now I got to deal with them and your rebelliousness and the fact that I didn't ask to be a first lady. I didn't know you didn't, but you hung in here for
You hung
Sit down
and shut up.
Hush and realize you did sign up for this.
Period.
You there on the great days, so doggone it, you got to get your scars on the
No, you signed up when you stood in front of the church and said, I do.
Amen.
That can we say?
And the truth be told, that you probably talked them into it.
Ooh.
And now you're trying to talk about
I didn't talk you into it. That was not my.
Yeah,
I did not. Baby, that was not my. No, I was like, are you sure?
She did speak to me and tell me that God called me to be a minister, a man of God.
I did.
You couldn't limit me after that point.
No, I couldn't.
You set me on fire. So let's remember. I want to tell you first that you get over yourself. You can't be petty no more. Listen, part of this journey, and anytime you're in leadership, listen to me, leaders. Anytime you're in leadership, you become not just the follower, you become the target as well.
Period.
The moment
you're on the front line,
you're going to be the target and the follower. So you cannot go back to the back of the line and say, oh, me, oh, my. It's time for the battle. But now you use the attacks. The attacks was meant to make you stronger, not make you weaker.
I love it. Not only that, when you're learning how to handle betrayal, you got to know, what part did you play? You must got to. No, don't leave. You must admit, what part did you play, petty pastor wife? What part did you play in it? I had to realize, I had to have a moment of, what part did I play? And I tell people all the time, and I say it in my book, I remember playing the part of, you did me wrong. Okay, no problem. I don't even have to speak to you, baby. You can go to this church and we can walk 2 different ways. And I don't even have to deal with you, sugar, at all. And not realizing, no, that ain't the will of God.
I had to teach my wife to have the Madagascar syndrome. The Madagascar syndrome is smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave.
I cannot with you. Where you come up with this? I can't. What?
All you gotta do is smile.
Smile and wave.
That's not letting folks get to you. Just smile and wave.
You would always say that.
Remember the pink one?
Yes, I remember now. It just hit me.
Wave,
you idiot. You're an idiot.
So the thing is, you gotta realize you ain't gotta respond. Mama used to say that as a child, baby, you ain't gotta respond to everything.
No. And some things don't even require a response. For what? That's what I had to learn, is that I had to admit, you got to be willing to admit. Somebody said, just smile and wave. Okay, Lady Perez, just smile. Listen, some things you just don't want. You got to be willing to admit, what part did I play? Like, what did I do to cause this? And when you take a look at that, you're able to see some things you just did not cause. And it was just, it had to happen. Yeah. And then some things, okay, I could have done that better. And we're going to talk about that later, how it makes you a better leader, period. As you grow, it's just all about who's willing to grow with you in the process.
Can I add one thing real quick? Mm-hmm. My wife always says this, and I think she just said it. I'm going to reiterate it. Don't tell me who you're over until you tell me who you're under. And don't forget that even though you may have a pastor outside of your husband is your first pastor right now, your first line of defense. You have got to be able to be corrected.
That part, as a pastor's wife, you got to be corrected.
Baby, am I wrong? That's one thing I applaud my wife. She'd come to me and she'd say, baby, am I wrong? Yeah. Is I wrong about this? And
or how can I do that better?
How can I do better?
I've even asked him, babe, can you, kind of pass me? Tell me how can I become a better leader to work in this ministry with you? Because I found out there was a lot of mistakes that I made. And my mistakes, some of my mistakes that I made is just not being present. I had to learn how to be present in my present, in ministry as a pastor's wife, because that was sometimes I wouldn't.
And I'm going to say this here, one last thing, I'm going to shut up.
No, you're good.
And don't feel as though, because some of y'all may look back and say, man, I actually hurt some people. Let me tell you a secret. God wouldn't have gave you people in your ministry at the time if their test wasn't you.
Man.
You were their test like they was your test.
Come on.
And when the test is over, God will give you a fresh set. And y'all got to have a different test. This is why we can't try to hold on to folks. Some people were never supposed to be with you forever. Y'all were each other test. Once God thought the test was over, let them go. And now make sure you use the next lesson on the next set of people.
That part. And we're going to talk about that too. Last and not least, number 4, my last one, and I'm done. How is it a blessing? Can you type that? How is it a blessing? Thank y'all for rocking out. Those are on that apart. Appreciate you so much for rocking out. Even if you're watching a replay, thank you for rocking out. Most of all, thank my husband, baby. I think I'm glad. I know you was busy this morning.
I needed a break.
You needed a break. It was a hard morning for you, rough morning. Well, I'm glad I was able to give you that break. So how is it a blessing? Is number one, it builds your character. It makes you better. For me, as Bishop said, I would have the guilt trip of what did I do? I need to do better. I gotta make sure, it was just so much you carry, especially when you feel like that someone has left your ministry because of you. Baby, you loved them when they came, love them when they leave. Type that. Come on here, TD Jakes, wife Sharita Jakes. Love them when they come, and you love them when they leave. And keep that love and keep your heart open as a pastor's wife. As we get ready to close out this whole series, man, keep your heart open as a pastor's wife to know that it's building my character. It's teaching me how to love and how to make sure that as a pastor's wife, that my character is where it's supposed to be. Yeah. It also teaches how to build your faith. It allows you to build your faith in God. Can I tell you, because of being a pastor's wife, I do not take back anything that has went on. Because of me being a pastor's wife, God has allowed my life to be unrecognizable. Because of having this position, I have learned how to use my platform, aka the pulpit to the pew, properly. And it has built me in so many ways. Come here, pastor wife. It's going to build you in so many ways for you to be able to sit in rooms with CEOs, sit in rooms with CCOs and COOs and all these kind of CFOs. You're able to sit in these rooms because it has allowed you. I love them when they come and love. That's right. It has allowed you the opportunity to grow as an individual. So you got to continue to allow it to build your faith, and you do things because your pain will push the pressure until you pushing out purpose. Come here. Your pain will allow you to push out purpose. Because of my pain, come here. I done pushed out purpose. Because of my pain, I done pushed out purpose. Come here. Because of my pain, classrooms and master classes. Because of my pain, I have done workshops and retreats that have been like, because of my pain. Come here. It pushes out purpose. Do not take it by chance that what you've experienced that was not necessary. It was needed because it allows you to grow in your faith. You do things. God give you creative ideas. I'm having a BAM class, Butterfly Academy, and their creative juices are going because of the wounds and the war wounds that they've experienced, because it pushes out purpose. Man, my life would not have been like this if I wasn't a pastor's wife and went through the trials and the tribulations as a pastor's wife. Come here. Don't take it by chance. It builds your faith. I'm teaching a series called Faithing Forward. Tomorrow, Sunday, I'm teaching Faithing Forward in your finances. It has allowed me to tap into, something, you understand me? What you got to say about that? Because I'm just going.
I was looking for a scripture that says that I think it's Romans 12:2. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, upon the mercy of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is the reason like the worship. Then it goes on to say, that basically, long story short, it tells us that we're not what we should be. That we're not. God's going to use different situations in life to help us become. And Romans 8 says that we should be conformed, not we should be transformed.
Transformed to this.
That's Romans 12. Another one says that we count our joy in James, but another one says in Romans 8 talks about that we're not going to let things separate us from the love of God. That as we go through things, that we're going to become stronger. What I'm saying to all that is this here is that you signed up not just to be a shoulder piece, or just to be a pretty woman. You signed up for the journey of God to use you.
Come on.
You have a ministry in you. I think the problem is so many first ladies thought the ministry was my husband. I'm here to support your ministry. And you're dying just being a good accessory. Right. Well, this is the 21st century. There's a two-part ministry here. And you have the major influence. So I'm telling you, first ladies, God is putting you on the front line to be on display. And the one scripture I was trying to get to was that he want to for the good of his purpose. It says something like that. He want to transfer me for the good of his purpose or whatever.
All things work together for the good of
I want to say
no?
Romans 8:28 that everything
Work together for the good of those that love the Lord,
and be
that are called
according
according to
his purpose. That word purpose means prothesis. Prothesis means to be. It's like the word means to like showbread. Be put on show. You have been called to be put on show on front display, and you got to watch out because God has called you to be transformed in front of the people. Watch out. Don't let them make you respond illegitimately. You know who you are. Let God finish the work he started in you. You are made for this. God grew you in this. I promise you, on the other side of this, there's victory.
And know this, that I always tell people this, and it became my new saying, is that if somebody come to me, if they decide to come to me and say, well, you did A, B, C, D, and E, and I heard that you said A, B, C, D, and I always say, baby, go to your source. Look at your source. And if you know your source, you know good dang on well that ain't my character. And it's understanding if people know your character, they love you for your character, or they just decided I could care less about your character. But no matter what the case may be, it builds your faith and it lets you know to keep going, keep pushing, and not quit. Also, it builds your spiritual sense of awareness. We talked about all them different spirits. Those that are joining on, listen, go watch the replay on that one, baby. Good stuff right there. There's different spirits that lingers over the church, and it is up to you. This is what I found out when it came to my spiritual sense. I had to ask God this question. I would never forget when one of these spirits, and it was, oh my God, they, baby, anyway, they sugar. And I said and it's in my book, I said these words to the Lord. I said, Lord, why does this spirit keep showing up?
Yes.
Ooh. Why does this spirit, yes, your integrity speak for it. That's right, baby, your integrity speak for itself. Why? I said to myself, why does this spirit keep showing up? God, it's the same spirit. The devil don't change. He don't have new tricks, y'all. Come here, every person. You don't even have to be a pastor's wife to know this. When there's havoc in your life, the enemy, this has shown up before. The enemy does not have new tricks. There's nothing he do new. So I had to ask myself, God, why does this spirit, and it was a particular spirit, and it looked like, and it would link to somebody in my church. I'm like, God, why is this spirit? God said, because I need to cleanse you from this spirit, that it does not get you off focus ever again. Come here. I'm talking about, I need you to be delivered from this particular spirit, to where when this spirit hits you in your future, that it will be like water on a duck and will wipe off of you. You need to grow up from this. You need to mature from this. Maybe this same spirit shows up to your church because we ain't grew up from it. Come here. Because we didn't grow up.
I used to watch my wife go through with the same type of spirit over and over. And I won't lie, I used to get disappointed. I'm like, baby, you should be bigger than this thing.
Yeah, he did.
I used to say, baby, you should be, this thing keep getting you, and you should be bigger than you by now. And I'm proud to say now, that thing that ran.
Man.
Because it didn't affect her no more.
And even when it shows up, because it lingers.
Yeah.
So even when it shows up, I just laugh to myself like, oh Lord, here we go.
It used to make her cry, now make her laugh.
Yes. Now it makes me laugh.
Did you just see that?
Did you see that?
And I'm glad to say that. I'm glad you're saying, did you see that, and not in the room in the dark closet, well, in the room with the door, with the curtains closed and lights off, in your feelings.
Yeah.
So I'm proud. I want to say this too. Can I throw a shameless plug in there?
Go ahead.
I want to say, for those, if you're a first lady or pastor watching, tomorrow, Saturday.
What did you say?
Just tomorrow.
What today is?
Friday.
Oh.
Tomorrow we're meeting with pastors at our church. Even if they say, well, I'm too far away to join. If you are interested, we'll put you in virtually. We're meeting with pastors tomorrow at our church.
Inbox me, man.
Yeah, yes. Inbox her. And the title tomorrow is Leading from the Front.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Leading from the front. And we're not preaching. We teach, we train, we develop pastors. And that's something that we got to follow as leaders, as pastors. We cannot lead from amongst the people. We must lead in the front. And part of that is leading from the front. Make sure you make the mistake first. Leading from the front. Make sure you succeed first. Leading from the front. Make sure you separate yourself. There's so many different things that God wants to do with that piece. But to be a successful first lady, to be a successful pastor, you must separate yourself from the people. You must lead from the front. When Jesus came in, he told the first group of disciples, y'all stay here. Then he told the second disciples, y'all stay here. Then he said, I'm going to go and pray alone. Some things you got to lead and be separated from the people. What happened, why we're so contaminated, because we're trying to lead from amongst the people. Jethro told Moses, what you're doing is not good.
Right.
They gathered all around you and making you feel like you're great. You're not, you don't need to feel great. You need to feel like you can make gains. You move forward. And so we're going to talk about that. If you're interested in joining our meeting tomorrow,
reach out too just in case if I missed the inbox, because I got a busy day. Sister Lindsay, can you put your email address on here for them to reach out to you and get the link? She'll create a link and all that for you to be a part of it. We would love for you to come. It's at 9 a.m.
I think breakfast starts at 9:30. And then the lesson starts at 9:30, 9:45.
So 9:45 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Look to jump on at 9:30, and with 9:45 we'll bring you on live.
Yes.
You may have to sit in the waiting room for 15 minutes, but we'll bring you on live at 9:45 as soon as we're ready. So jump on 9:30. Just reach out to us. We'll give you all the details. Yeah, we would love to have you. We don't want any pastor. The motto of the NDCM, New Destiny Council of Ministries, where we hold you accountable to the high call of God. You need to be held accountable, because I don't know how many times I want to quit or somebody want to quit, but we talk to them and say, hold up, no, you told God you was going to do this for better or for worse, through sickness and health, even in ministry, not just marriage, even in ministry. You're going to keep it going. You're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. So I just want to throw it out there. Awesome. I know people out there need help.
Yeah. Reach out to Lindsay. I'll send you Lindsay information, but definitely there you go. And it's so crazy. My last thing to talk about was it also not only builds your character, it builds your faith, it builds your sensitive spirit, your spiritual senses, and make you more aware as a pastor. If I don't teach you anything else today, my goal is to teach you the awareness of spirits that you fight against that lingers over your church. They do not leave. They are there to destroy. The Jezebel spirit, it is there to destroy. One spirit I didn't talk about was the Leviathan spirit. The Leviathan spirit, it will suck the life. It's like a snake. If you think of a big baby, it runs everything and everybody, and you'll look up, and that type of spirit will use people like a puppet against your ministry, and you look up and they're no longer there because of this Leviathan spirit. And it don't stop, because it also starts reaching back out to those that are inside your church to continue to create discord and get them to leave, because I need to control you like I'm controlling all these other little amps that are connected to me. Yeah, you got to be careful of that. We also talked about, I didn't talk about that, but we also talked about the Ahab spirit, the Jezebel spirit, all the different spirits that lingers to destroy the spirit. But the main one is that dang gone narcissistic spirit that comes in your church and gets too close to you. And once they get close, they will destroy it, because they want power and they want control. We talked about that. You got to be aware of these things, right? You have to be aware. Not only that, we talked about building faith, but lastly, it builds you as a leader. Yeah. It built me, the situations and the things I've endured and the mistakes I've made built me as a leader. So as my husband said, lead from the front. I can't wait to rock out with our pastors and pastor wives that join us on tomorrow as we discuss that, because becoming a leader, it allows you to make sure that you lead properly and that you are not dropping God's people. Yeah. And it allows you to be aware when you are moving in these different spirits as well, and for the Lord to convict you so that he can convert your mind on how you're moving as a leader. There's some things that I've done. I remember feeling like, oh my God, I felt so convicted because I walked in the spirit of Ahab rebellion. I walked in the spirit of Jezebel trying to run the church. Man, God ate me up. He will not allow you to destroy the ministry.
I walked in the spirit of what was that one?
Narcissistic.
No, one the weak man.
Who was it?
Ahab.
Ahab.
I was the spirit of Ahab. I was listening to them like it was all okay.
Yeah.
And until my David showed up.
Come on here, David.
I had to get my strength. I had to realize that, hold up, that my ministry is important. I want to say this real quick to anybody who's listening, and if you're a minister, and this is not for ministers. This is for pastors. So we know Lady Perez. So Sister Lindsay, don't vet Lady Perez. We know she's a pastor. But if someone reaches out to you and we don't know them, they're gonna have to show proof that they're pastors. This is a safe environment for pastors and first ladies only.
I'm glad you said that.
Pastors and first ladies only. So this is not a place for ministers to come, even elders, or I don't care what title you have. You need to be
the
leading
senior pastors.
pastor. You got to have a group of people that you are responsible for spiritually, and not just a ministry, but a church. And we're going to have to show some type of verification that you're over a church, because this is a safe environment. We let it all hang out, and we don't need to get exposed in front of people who can't handle exposure.
Right, that part. So I would say this. I pray these last 4 days have been encouraging. Can y'all heart it up for Bishop? We thank you for being here, Bishop. Thank Bishop for being a part of this with me. And I'm glad it was the last 2 days. You finna go? The last 2 days that we've been here. Yeah, he's been here with us. And I thank you. He said real quick, we want to do a Q&A really, really quick. Any questions that anyone may have? So while I'm closing and saying this, I'm going to give y'all time because of the delay. Any quick questions that you may have and you want us to answer really, really quick. We love us a good old Q&A. Any questions that you can think of that you want to just kind of put out there and ask us real quick, please do. But I want to say thank you for being here for the last 4 days as we talked about the importance of, so you are a pastor's wife, to that new pastor's wife that is just becoming, to every pastor's wife that's watching, man, go join the Pastor's Wife Connection group. There's a link on one of these videos, just grab it. As well as we talked about, when the pastor's wife character is being built. Again, we're still waiting on your questions, so I'm just going to talk a little bit. So if you got anything, you don't have to be a no pastor wife, just ask. Whoever you just want to ask. And there's no crazy question. Also, we talked about the betrayal of staff members. Man, you got to go see that yesterday as my husband jumped on in the middle and just shared some gems. You understand me? Bishop came and shared some gems. And then today we talked about the blessing and the betrayal. It is in my book that I have. You Are the Fragrance. Should I do a giveaway? I don't know. Because it's too valuable to do it. It's too valuable for me to do a giveaway, y'all. I'm sorry. You can go purchase the book on my website, TanyaHarden.com. It's just too valuable for me to give away like that. I can't do that. But you're welcome to go on my website, TanyaHarden.com, purchase your book today. It will be sent out today. But most of all, love on your pastor's wife this month. Find a way to love on them. Purchase the book for another pastor's wife to encourage them. But if you're a leader, purchase it for yourself, so that you can learn how to become a leader and move in the vein and the lane. So I'm taking it. Nobody has any questions. Any last words that you want to share, Bishop?
No, I'll just say,
pastor wives?
I want to encourage every pastor wife in this pastor wife month that you're valuable. You're valuable. Even though, he may be trying to.
Awesome. Thank you.
He may be trying to maintain membership. He's trying to keep people around. He's trying to please people and encourage people, and you seem forgotten about. It's not that you don't matter. It's because he feels safe and secure in you being there. He's trying to make sure the ministry God gave him is a success. Listen, I'm not okaying that. That's not true, but I don't want that to define you. You're valuable. You're necessary. You're an asset. I thank God my wife did not stop talking in those seasons that I didn't show value in her voice. I valued it, but I didn't show value. So I want to encourage you, keep talking. Don't stop. Keep talking. Don't stop, because it's your words that is shifting the ship. The Bible says that a rudder is like a tongue, and a tongue can shift a whole ship. It's your tongue that's guiding the ship. Nobody really get it. Yeah, he's preaching, he's doing everything, but it's your encouraging words is keeping the ship afloat in the worst storms. I just want to let you know you're valuable. My wife is valuable, and you will make the ministry the fragrance that it is.
Yes. And what is You Are the Fragrance? Where did this title come from? Is that there is an aroma that a pastor wife carries in her ministry that makes people want to be like her, that makes people want to look up to her, that makes people want to change because of her. There's an aroma that you share, and your aroma is unique to your own ministry. So that's why I say you are the fragrance of your ministry. Can't nobody come in that church and do what you do. I don't care how much they try. I don't care how much they do. Look at my husband, such a salesman. Thank you. I don't care how much they try. I don't care what they do. I don't care how gifted they are. I don't care how good looking they are. They could never bring the fragrance that God has given you to bring to that ministry that is life changing for that person, that is a sign to, ooh, I'm about to go spiritual, that is a sign to your belly. That's a sign. And I say something else in the pastor wife connection. I ain't gonna say that out here. That is a sign.
Just because they come in anointed and you get intimidated thinking they know more than you, if they knew that much, why they don't have their own church?
And just because they come in there and they make it seem like that they that not only they know more than you, but they are called for greater, and the Lord speaks to them. Lord speak to you just like they speak to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't let nobody out here in these streets intimidate you in your ministry when you are the fragrance of the house. It does not matter. God has given you something that is so valuable to your ministry. Allow him to use it. My last thing I want to leave with you is this. Go purchase the book. Definitely go purchase. Thank you to those that purchase. I appreciate it. Your book will go out soon. I see just purchase. Yes, get your copy. Look at him. Bishop is such a mess. My last thing I want to share with you is their perception of you is not your responsibility to live up to. My daughter posted that in a group we have. Their perception of you is not your responsibility to live up to. People will put you as a pastor's wife on a pedestal and make it seem like that you're supposed to have it together. You are a growing person in progress. You grow at your pace and what God has called you to do, and at your conviction. Allow God to convict you. Allow God. She's an incredible book. I love it. Allow God to convict you and not the people, and be you.
Yes.
That's the best thing you can ever be as a pastor's wife. Be you. I tell people all the time, I'm a little holy hood.
No, you're not.
I'm a little, just a tad bit. I'm a tad bit holy hood. I'm a little gangster. I'm godly gangster though. I'm that, right?
Real.
I'm the one, I'm preaching in the pulpit like, what's up? Let's talk about this dude real quick. Like, that's me. Be okay with that being you. Be you. Don't try to be anybody else. Be who God has called you to be. And that is going to be good enough. So I encourage you, pastor's wife. Their perception of you ain't none of your business. Let them be where they are. But their perception of you is not your responsibility to live up to. You don't have to live up to that. Do what God calls you to do. All right? Until next time, I thank y'all again for rocking out with me. Somebody say, be me. Rocking out with me for the last 4 days. I pray that there's something I said. If you have not watched all the videos, go watch day 1, day 2, day 3, and today is day 4, where we are closing this thing out. Listen, come back. We're going to be rocking out on the first. Bishop and I rock out every first Monday of the month, where we do coffee and conversation at 6:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, because we busy people. So we do early in the morning. But I wanted to do this month to celebrate that pastor's wife, the pastor wives that are out there, and celebrate you and all that you do, and show appreciation, but also give you some tools from my book that will be able to help you to continue this journey called growth, continue this journey called faith. So I encourage you, grab the book, and to that leader, to encourage you, man. The pastor wife needs you to appreciate her and not just tolerate her because you in your feelings. Get out your feelings and just appreciate what she brings to the table. She brings a lot and stuff that you do not see, and you may never ever know if she is a pastor wife after God's heart that is private about the things that she wants to do. All right. Again, thank y'all for rocking out. Until next time. She said it's 4 a.m. her time. It's 6:30. Jesus on the main line. You in Mexico. Jesus, baby.
Get the recording.
Get the recording. Watch the replay, sugar. Lady Perez, watch the replay.
So at 9, what time is it at 9:45 in the morning? So 9,
what time is it? 9 o'clock there.
So it means 9 o'clock. I think so 4, 5, 6. So 9 is 7. 7, 8, 9. So 7. So you can join us at 7:30.
Just watch the replay. Until next time, man. Anything else?
No, I love y'all. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing. I want you to know that New Destiny is who they are because of you. So stay with me, rock with me. Don't
Forever,
ever leave
man.
me.
I love you, man. All right. Until next time, I pray you have a great weekend and all of that great stuff. Y'all stay blessed in all that you do, and go get the book.
Go with the book.
Stay blessed. Bye-bye. If you don't remember anything else, Pastor Wife, connection. Stay connected to God. Stay connected to marriage. And stay connected to ministry. In that order. And watch God work.